I'm Megan Mitchell. This is my co-host, John Morrison, and you are listening to the True North Racing Podcast.
Time to strap in, pull those belts, and get ready for an action-packed episode of the True North Racing Podcast. Are you ready to unmask? Unhelmet your favorite racers? Get ready for the most fun you'll have outside the racetrack to get you ready for the next race. You're listening to John Morrison and Megan Mitchell, and this is the True North Racing Podcast.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the True North Racing Podcast presented by Driving With Hailey. I'm your host, John Morrison. This week, as you guys can see, we are flying a little bit solo, but that's because we got a special guest for you guys coming up in just a little bit. This is episode 150 of the True North Racing Podcast. I got to thank everyone who's made this possible. 150 episodes, you guys. This is incredible. I never thought we were going to get to 100, let alone 150. This week, we're excited. We're going to be having on, as you guys can see, we don't have Megan, but she's going to be joining us in just a little bit as we got our co-host we're returning the driver's seat. At least one time so far. For anyone who's a longtime listener of the True North Racing Podcast and has been around with Joe Media for a long time, you guys have known this is a project of mine that, started back in 2021. Shortly after the inception of the True North Racing Podcast. And it was fun. We started off with Michael and Caitlin, then we brought in, Michael and Caitlin, and then we brought in Megan. And we had a blast. I think one of the favorite things of the show for me was seeing how well they would do learning about, not even learning, but like trying to figure out random topics in our checkers or wreckers. But it was always great to understand what each driver went through each night. And I think we're missing that in a lot of different aspects of racing podcasts. And, I figured what? It's a show I've always loved. It's near and dear to my heart. It's been a creation of ours here. And it was always such a fun program to do. So yeah, I'm excited. We're going to be having Megan and Caitlin joining us in just a few minutes here. But we're going to get into our Pep Propane opening segment this past weekend. No racing for me. Not a whole lot of racing in the province. Saturday afternoon. Sunset got their full weekend in, which I'm very thankful for. They hell of a weekend. Congratulations to Sunset Speedway. All their champions. Even their champions during this weekend here for the Fall Velocity. I haven't kept in touch as much as this is. I try to keep as much off of social media as possible this past weekend. As we celebrated a birthday this weekend. It was my 11-year-old son Robert's birthday. Yeah, guys, he turned 11 on Saturday on the 21st. We spent the day at Wonderland. We had such a blast. I love being able to celebrate their birthdays with them. They are fantastic. I love my kids. And to take them to Wonderland, they love it. They love the big rides. I can't fit like I used to when I was a kid, but I was able to go on Top Gun with them. I was able to go on Dragonfire, which are two of my favorite rides. Now, this is where I want to go into a little bit of a rant. One of the things I loathe, is actually Leviathan and Behemoth. People are like, oh, I love the rides. Da, da, da. I'm like, no, those suck. Why do they suck? Well, I don't think they have the intensity that I like. I'm very much a technical kind of rider when it comes to roller coasters. So like a Top Gun or Flight Deck, as it's now called at Wonderland. If anyone knows, I love the movie Top Gun. It's one of my favorite movies. It's my favorite movie of all time. That and Days of Thunder. The intricacy of Flight Deck and the fact that for a minute once I make that drop, I have no clue where I am. I don't know what inversion I'm doing. I don't know where I am on the track. All I know is I'm going back and forth. That's it. But it is one of my favorite rides of all time. And I was able to go on it this year with both kids. First time was with Robert, second time was with Maverick. And I know they appreciate that a lot when I get to go on rides with them. Um, yeah, it's like I said, we love Wonderland. But yeah, we with this being my son's birthday weekend, I didn't focus on racing. I'm gearing up for one more weekend of racing this year. We got one more, you guys. September 28th, I'll be at Flamborough Speedway with Jacob and Wyatt Sutcliffe. They drive the 27 and the 72 Ford Mustang mini stocks. They usually compete at Sunset Speedway, but because it's Quick Wick night, they are supporting one of their sponsors on their vehicle, and we're gonna go down with them to Sunset Speedway, or not to Flamborough, for their championship night as well at Flamborough. So it's there's a lot going on this week at Flamborough. Um, I'm still trying to figure out timing. We're planning on doing a two-part vlog for him. We may be going up earlier. I'm planning on trying to figure out how to work it so that we can go up to their place, shoot some behind the scenes, get some stuff ready before we head to the track, and maybe who knows if maybe they're hopefully their parents drive, or if they don't drive, or I don't know how the deal works, but maybe they'll catch a ride with us. I don't know. Maybe there might be a special guest. I don't know, but we're either way, we're gonna have such a fun time at Flamborough. It's championship night. It's one of my favorites. I know you guys. I know I hate to say it's the championships are the worst part of the year, but it's nice to see when the effort has been rewarded. Uh, because I know the grind these drivers put on these and the teams throughout an entire season is remarkable. You know, sometimes we don't sit back. We sit back here and we don't see the full picture, but sometimes it's nice being able to see into what kind of work goes on. And, and that's one of the things I like about doing these race day vlogs, where the shop tours is really just to get an idea of what you guys go through on a day-to-day basis, or once a week basis, um, whatever your plan is. So with that being said, we're gonna start trying to promote our 2025 program. We got a lot going on. We're gonna be working with some great companies in 2025. Those will be announced after this season is over. Probably, I want to start announcing stuff in November, but I'm planning on going away, so we're gonna. I don't know. Uh, maybe I'll figure that out here in the coming weeks. But with only we got 3 weekends left: Championship of Flamborough, Frosttoberfest of Flamborough, and then Autumn Colors, and then we're done. I think I think Robert still has a later October race. Yeah, that he runs October 5th and 6th. I think we're all wrapping up at roughly the same time this year, which is kind of nice. Um, but this year for 2025 we got 5 promotional packages to go from. We got the return of the beefy package, we got the bronze, silver, gold, and the introduction of the platinum package. Now the platinum package is a little bit different than our gold. Yes, it's more prestige. I couldn't come up with different names. I'm sorry, I couldn't come up with the original names for these. Um, but we got some good ones, I think. The platinum this year we're going to be is going to be more in depth into more is not going to be run so much by Stroll Media Promotion. It's how do I the page, so the platinum package, essentially I'm a social media manager for your team. It's will create or rejuvenate your Facebook page. And in 2025, we would have a breakdown of what to expect of the races that weekend. So each week, you and I would be talking and getting an idea of what we would be able to do, or like what you're planning on doing that weekend. So like if you're running, let's say Flamborough, what can we expect of this week at Flamborough? What can we expect opening night? Give a breakdown, give a race preview. Friday, it would go out Thursday, Friday, um, Saturday race day poster, and then we would have not up to minute updates, but I'd be in contact with you throughout the day, especially after practice, making sure that's the time you ran, where you starting, where you finishing, getting post up. And, there's going to be ones where I may be at the track full time. If you're looking for a full social media manager to run your socials while you're racing, so you don't have anything to worry about, the platinum package stretches from just above the gold all the way through, at the races each week. Sorry guys, I don't know why I have my phone case in my hand there when you're looking on YouTube. You're like, what the hell is he doing? But there's a lot to be there's a lot of different areas that we can work with. Now, I've left quite a bit into interpretation for what maybe you're looking for. Maybe you want the social media manager, but you don't want all the benefits. But that's fine. We can always sit down and talk. That's the beauty of how I've set that up this year, is that I am encouraging you guys to reach out, chat with me. We can figure something out, and how we can get you signed on with Joe Media Promotions for 2025. And of course, we have our standard gold, silver, and bronze package, which of course is the same packages you guys have come to know and love over the past couple seasons. And of course, we have our beefy package is returning this year. Brandon's going to be running that, and I'm trying to get him to kind of take over the bronze package as well. If he's interested in that, I don't know if he's going to listen to this or not, but the goal is I would like him to handle our beefy package, obviously, because that's his package, and our bronze as well. And we're going to try to put out as much great content as we can in 2025. Man, I'm excited. And, we're already talking to some sponsors for next year, kind of seeing what we can do. I'm hoping to get those announced in the next coming weeks here, because there's things I'm planning on doing for 2025 that I really hope we can do. If you are a sponsor, if you are a company looking to join Joe Media Promotions on the marketing side, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to have your input. We'd love to work with you. See what we can come up with for 2025, because there's tons of opportunities. We got the driver's seat returning. If you want to jump on that podcast, please feel free. We'd love to get some support for that, for the show. Day at the Races is returning next year. We got the True North Racing podcast. We're gonna reevaluate this podcast actually over the winter. We're gonna actually run another podcast out of here that's not racing affiliated, which is good, which is gonna be interesting for me. I'm doing more of a technical role behind that, just producing and editing. You're actually gonna see Jacqueline take a primary role on the podcasting front there, so that's gonna be kind of cool. But what else do we got? I'm still working on a concept show. Don't think it's gonna start this year, but hopefully we'll see what 2025 brings for us. But I'd love for Brandon and I to get out there and go scour some old racetracks. So I don't know, maybe if I'll talk to him, maybe one of the weekends after Thanksgiving, me and him can meet up, and we can go out and me and him can go out and go to an old racetrack, see what we can find, and talk about it. And I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, 2025 open book. We're going all in. We got lots of cool things happening on the backside here. Got some great partnerships to announce in the. If you guys have seen our pages, you guys may have noticed a couple differences, which is gonna be cool to see them come to fruition. And I'm excited to work with some of these people, so it's going to be a cool thing for 2025. But we're gonna finish off 2024 pretty darn strong, in my opinion, and we're gonna start gearing up for 2025, which I can kind of picture it now. It's going to be really cool to see some of the things we can get done. We got our calendars. I'm working on. I'm still trying to get a few more pictures over to our designer, Rachel. So we can get those calendars done and sent out to people. What else we got going on? Make sure you guys our day at the races are on Rev TV Canada. Make sure you guys tune into those. I think they air for the most part on Saturdays at 7:30. So if you guys tune in, make sure you guys can tune in, go enjoy and see what we do. If you guys haven't checked out our full race day vlogs, you guys can go over to our face or check out the videos underneath this. We got tons of videos down there. I think we got Jay Pepins going out next. Jay's gonna have a 3-part series on Rev TV Canada because of how much content we got and because it was a 2-team deal. And I think we're gonna almost run into the same problem with um the Sutcliffes here. But I gotta finish up Cam Thompson Sprint Car 1. I think that's done. I think I gotta work on Mark Allen's now as well. So Mark, sorry buddy, you're gonna have to wait. Probably it'll be coming out this week for sure. But yeah. But that's enough talking for me, guys. Let's get into this episode 150 of the True North Racing Podcast presented by Driving with Hailey. Why am I saying that, guys? Because we got our Driving with Hailey vehicle spotlight coming up here in just a second. Take a look, guys. This week's Driving with Hailey vehicle spotlight is a 2023 Kia Sorento SX with only 30,651 kilometers. This 2.5-liter 4-cylinder all-wheel drive is a 4-door, seats 6. That's right, it's got third-row seating. It only has one previous owner's, accident-free, has heads-up display, cooled seats, third-row seating, adaptive cruise control, power passenger seat, leather interior, GPS navigation, and park assist. If you're interested in taking a look at this ride, you guys better call Hailey Hill at 289-808-2828 or email her at hhill@rightride.ca. You guys can also find her on Facebook and Instagram at Driving with Hailey. We have to thank Hailey for being the presenting sponsor of the True North Racing Podcast and for this segment. Make sure you guys go give her a follow on Facebook and Instagram and let her know that we sent you. Now let's get into this week's graphic design studio guest segment of the week with the driver seats, Kait Wallace and Megan Mitchell. Joining us in our graphic design studio guest segment of the week, we got a double guest. We got Kaitlyn Wallace and Megan Mitchell joining us. And as you guys have heard us talk about in the past, we used to have a second podcast called The Driver's Seat. And these were our lovely two hosts. It was a lot of fun, but we got Megan and Kaitlyn joining us. Girls, how are you doing?
Not bad, you?
I'm good.
It's nice having the gang back together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously, it's a little weird having you guys on as a guest because Megan's been our co-host on the True North Racing Podcast, so it's really weird for having Megan back on as a guest. But we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. We're gonna find out. We're gonna relearn, because Kaitlyn and Megan, I've known you guys for 4-ish years now.
Yeah.
Crazy to think we've put up with each other for 4 years now. 3 years ago we did the driver's seat. We always had a blast on the show, even if our checkers or wreckers games were left to be desired, to say the least, I think, between you guys.
We're fighting for 1 point each.
I never thought they were that hard, okay?
To you.
I was gonna say, come on, look who you're fighting with here.
I know I'm the king. I'm not the king, but I feel like I have a really good knowledge of just random things. And I put it to work throughout all those checkers or wreckers. And I felt like I failed you guys.
No,
I'm gonna be honest.
you.
I feel like I failed you. Like I would try and tee you guys up with a few different things so you guys could be prepared. And it never turned out like the way I hoped for.
It's like trying to study for a test. You think you're prepared, and then you go into the test and you think, no, not prepared at all. I was studying the wrong subject.
Yeah. This is an English test? I thought it was history.
Oh, man. Well, there goes English. Can't speak it anyway,
Hey,
so...
I always joke the only two classes I would ever pass are gym and lunch. That's the only two. Those are the only two courses I ever passed in high school. That is a joke, everybody, just as a heads up. But we are getting off on the wrong foot, as we typically do as a trio. But it's great to have you guys back on. How has your 2024 season... Actually, let's back the track this a little bit because we haven't had Megan or Caitlin on. Megan was on like a couple weeks ago, so we're good there. But we haven't had Caitlin on in a while. Caitlin, how have you been doing? Now let's be real. Do you want to be called Kate or Caitlin? I gotta know that.
Kate,
Okay,
please.
sorry.
Come on.
What? You were going by Caitlin when I first met you, so like seeing it as Kate has always just thrown me off.
Rebranded, okay? When we first started talking, that was a whole different person. We
I
ain't going
I
back
know.
there.
Let's
I had
not.
black hair.
What have you been up to since the last time we chatted with you?
I think I should take my glasses off because there's a glare. Can't see my eyes. Just working, really working and racing and sleeping when I can.
I mean, nothing wrong with that. Last year we haven't had you on since you won your first feature win, have we?
No. Life got
Oh,
really
I feel
busy and
bad. I'm so sorry. Back in 2022, guys, Kaylin picked up her first career win in the mini stock division over at Flamborough Speedway. Kaylin, why don't you tell us a little bit about that and how that went for you?
um I've been racing for 5 years at the time and never once thought that I'd like actually get a checkered flag because I was never really competitive, and obviously the guys out there are super competitive and super fast. So I thought it was going to be quite a feat to ever try and get one. But I started out pole outside. Michael was actually on the inside of me, and of course, I mean, I drag raced him down the front stretch and beat him because, duh. Just kidding, love you, Michael. um, and going in the first corner, I took first place and I led the whole race. About like 5 laps in, I got squirrely coming out of two, and I thought, oh well, there it goes. I screwed it up already. I couldn't even last half the race. So, but actually, Carl and Bobby Mercer were behind me, and they both got squirrely too. So I was able to save it, and they weren't going past me. So I kept going, and last corner, last lap, we're going into turn three, and Carl just sends it, hoping for a Hail Mary on trying to get around me. And he goes underneath me going into three. And I vividly remember looking out of my window, looking at his car sliding up at me and thinking, you know what? I'm winning or I'm wrecking. Definition checkers or wreckers ain't there. You're either going to take my car out or I'm going for this win. You're not scaring me here. So, yeah, we drag Grace down the front stretch, and I was able to keep just a little quarter car length ahead of him, and I got my first feature win.
How did that feel for you to be able to go out there and like, especially it was Memorial Night at the track as well, if I remember correctly. Was it or was it no?
No, it wasn't
It was the
Memorial
week. It
Night.
was the week before.
After,
Yeah.
because it was the day after my mom's birthday.
Yes.
So, it was
What a birthday
surreal,
present, by the way.
right? Best one she's ever gotten. Never got a 10. um, it was it didn't feel like it was real at the time. It seriously took me to getting into victory lane to think like, actually I did that. I worked my butt off. Like it wasn't like it was given to me. The guys behind me weren't just like kind of there behind me. Like they were actually racing to go around me, and I held them off. And so it was a surreal feeling. And then obviously the excitement once I did my interview and stuff, and try not to cry while I was talking. um, when I pulled off a little out of practice here, guys.
Just a little bit.
um, pull off the track, and like my mom, Dale, my dad, all my friends are there, and that's when it kind of like super kicked in. I'm like, holy crap, I did that. So yeah, it was a great feeling. It was a really good confidence booster too, because I had actually been going through a really rough time that season. I had been getting targeted on the track, and like 2 weeks before this um feature win, I had got turned head first towards the wall. Luckily we were going full speed coming out of two. There's 2 laps to go in I think it was a special race actually. It was 40 laps. we're at lap 38, and coming out of two, I was underneath a guy, and he ended up turning purposely into my right quarter panel and set me up in the wall. Um, it was terrifying, and it knocked all my mental health sour real fast. And I had vowed after that weekend that I was just finishing off the season for my sponsors and I was done. I didn't want anything to do with racing. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't deal with knowing someone's out there actually trying to harm me, because that's essentially what it was doing now. It wasn't even stupid little things. It was actually getting to the point where I could have been seriously injured. And so it was ruining my mental state. So, and then 2 weeks later, I ended up having my first feature win. So it helped bring my love back for racing, because I can promise you it was gone. I hated my car. I wanted nothing to do with it. I couldn't look at it. I did not care when I was at the track. I wasn't social. It was miserable. So,
Well, we're definitely happy you've continued on. I know I was excited. I'm still mad I didn't get it. Like I was, because back then I was dealing with the CVMs, and I think we just did the backpack giveaway then that night. Because
yeah.
Jacqueline was at the track with the kids and they were helping us with it. Um, and I was dealing with some behind the scenes stuff with the CVMs, and next thing you know, all I hear is Caitlin Wallace off to victory lane. I'm like, excuse me? And I ran up to the fence, saw that your 45 was up on the top of the board, and I was like, she did it. I'm like, hell yeah. Can't swear, so you guys can kind of get can kind of figure out what I want to say.
Yeah.
um, but let's talk about 2024 here. Megan, we I know we talk a lot about your season because you're on as a co-host, but overall, how has your season been going for you? Now
It's
you
a
can kind of recap more than
Yeah,
what we do during our opening segment.
it's true. It's been a roller coaster. I don't know. Like I know that other people like outside looking in, it looks like I'm doing absolutely terrible. Like nothing impressive at all, which is probably not very wrong, but like kind of is at the same time. Like where I started and where I am now, it's like a massive difference. So it's like it's been fluctuating nights, but it's like I think we're finally at a point. Unfortunately, it took this long till the end of the season to get to that point where I'm running like this, not the exact same lap times as everybody, but like the
You're getting
quicker
there
lap.
kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, it sucks that it's taken that long because we're at the end of the season and now I don't want to be in the pack, like interfering with everybody running for a championship. So it's been, you know, back and forth, but
Yeah.
like, I think I'm at a foot where I can go into next year confident and like on a whole new page. So that's all I can ask for.
That's what I want to hear. Come in next year with a fresh, because now, like you said, you've gotten faster. The lap times are proving you're getting faster. You're showing more confidence each time out, which is fantastic. I know I've been on here kind of stressing that a little bit. Like we need to see that old Megan back. We're really starting to see more and more of it, and I really hope to see more. Like 2025, you just go out there and hit the track running.
That's the goal. I
No more
set,
starting scratch next year then.
no. It sucks because I stopped doing that and then we started getting towards the end of the season and I'm like, it's like the one night I would have been starting like outside pole or something and I'm like, don't I don't know if it's a good idea right now.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes there's an I like when it gets later in the season, like you kind of like you kind of been scratching for most of the year, to get your feet wet again, to continue to build that confidence. And like you said, you got back in there, and next, you're starting to get in the mix. It's like, oh, there's a points battle heating up. I don't want to
Yeah.
get anywhere near that. I just want to get out here, run my races, run my laps. Um, but that's still like, you're still going out there. You're making passes. You're making competitive passes. And you're not just slowly going around there at like 30 miles an hour in the middle of the corners kind of deal, right? Like,
Yeah.
which is good to see. Like, it's good to see. There's been a huge progression from you for this year. and it's noticeable for people who are in the know kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's very noticeable from where you were a year ago when you got back in the car to now. There's a whole different um je ne sais quoi about it. I couldn't even think of a word. It's just I find if I can't find anything, I just je ne sais quoi. So
Yeah.
uh but that's good. That's good to hear though. But let's get it. And Kaylin, obviously, Kait, sorry, that's gonna get me to a little bit used to. I'm sorry. Uh, how's your 2024 season been going?
Um, it was going good.
It was going fantastic.
Yeah, we started out running this time, which normally it's starting out with issues and then we finally find fifth gear and go for it. But we started out hot and we're doing different setups and trying different tires. And we got up to doing a 17.7 finally, which was a dream. I think my best time last year was 17.9 something. And pretty early on, I got into the 17.8s. And then, yeah, I hit about 17.7. And then a couple weeks after, I snapped the crankshaft in my engine. And it's been absolute downhill since then. Um, we went in my backup car after I snapped the crankshaft, and that engine was pretty much blowing up as I raced. Um, but I think we believe that it was just a head gasket. So, because my dad has taken it apart and doesn't look like there's any damage in it, so we're hoping it's just a head gasket. But when I got my new crank put into the good engine, we put it in and it was slow, and then we realized that one of the valve springs was snapped. So then we had to fix that. And when we were trying to fix that, my dad put in just a random one and realized that you can't just put in a random one because it was a custom set. So I had to change the head. Well, I didn't have to, Dale. My dad had to change a head race day morning
Oh,
and put
good
a different
God.
head on. Oh, yeah. Put a different head on the engine that morning and raced, and it was still slow. Couldn't figure it out. Um, my dad got our engine builder to order a set of valve springs and we replaced the one so it's now matching and got the good engine back together and still slow. So then Dale's like, you know what? Change the tranny because when it snapped the crankshaft, maybe it shifted the spline and the tranny. Holy moly, sorry. Um, so we changed the tranny because we had another other 5-speed. And when he did that, when you move the spline, it's like the slightest bit, but it is a bit crooked. So we do think that the crankshaft, when it split, it jolted the spline and the tranny that it connects to. So that would be killing my RPM and my horsepower going through the corners. So change that. The welds in my rear end also broke. So
Holy.
yeah, so my dad had to change the gears, or not change the gears, but fix the welds in the rear end. And then it got faster. I don't know. I guess
Just
it's
not
just
where it was
me.
before kind of thing.
Well, no, because it went back, like we got down to 17.9s and then great feelings, super confidence boosting. And then going into the features, we went back to doing 18.1s. And then, so we did a different tire setup from practice into the first feature, did an 18.1. And that was the tire setup that I had when I was doing 17.7s. So changed the tire setup for feature two. And I think I went slower. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm just somehow driving it wrong or if there is something wrong, if the car, when it gets too hot, if something's not happy. I don't know. So we had a good start. I think I'm finishing fourth in the points as long as I can hold off Bobby. But I don't think I'm going to be able to. I think we're only like 5 points apart. He's stupid fast. So I'm probably going to end up fifth in points, which I mean, I'll take it. I didn't have a great last half. So yeah,
And nothing wrong with that. Like,
no,
still, let's be real. A top five in points is still a good reason to celebrate.
it is. And especially like this season, the top guys are monsters.
Mm.
Their speeds are insane. And so I already kind of knew going into it that like I was definitely not as competitive as I was last year. Last year I got a couple second place, a lot of top threes, a lot of top fives. This year I knew that it was going to be a bit harder to get those top threes podium finishes, but I got a few, and so that was still nice to have. And after having all this bad luck for the last like 8 weeks, I'm gonna take the fifth place with stride because
Mhm.
it's better than anything. And that's just from me being consistently there every weekend, making sure I get perfect attendance and points and stuff. So
The one thing I know you guys both have been really stressing about this year in terms of how you guys have been feeling about racing was the next year that if you guys had perfect attendance this season, next year your pit passes are paid for. Um, how do you think that's put a little bit of a strain on you guys this year in terms of how you guys went into each race? Or did it change your mind and how you wanted to race? Like how did it make you guys feel?
I know for me it did because like we only had 2 weekends off. I know we talk about that all the time,
Yeah.
but it's like we have 4 cars and a fifth being built. So it's like my mindset was always I don't want to go out and mess up and wreck the car and it's not ready for the following weekend. Like I need this perfect attendance. So it's like it kind of played a factor in my mindset of how I'm going out on the track, which sucked. But like we did it. So
um me personally, it's gonna sound really stuck up, but it didn't really change my mindset just for the sole factor that I do have the second car. Now I know not a lot of people have the privilege of having the two cars, and I'm very lucky that my dad and Dale had built a new car over the winter, and I had my other one as backup. But I had the mindset that if I did go out and junk the car because of all the nonsense that's been going on all season with everyone, I had another car that I could at least get myself out there. So it was a bit more of a free will type thing. Obviously it's still in my back of my head like Megan, like I don't want to wreck my car because that one's a lot heavier, and so it'd be a lot of changing in that setup because it's the old setup. When we built this new car winter before last, it was a like we're changing everything, like we scrapped that setup, we put a whole new setup in it, we've done lighter springs, changed everything, and so the old car is really behind now. So even when I had to race it that one weekend because I blew my engine, it was a scramble to get like different springs in the car, change things, have to like weld and adjust things because it wasn't built for the stuff we use now. So, but I mean, once again, it was not entirely affecting my racing, but it was still same with Megan back in my head that like you don't want to toast your car because it's going to be nice next year not having to pay for my pit pass if I raced next year. So
If you race, what's that talking? What are you talking about if you race?
we'll see.
Oh boy. Um, no, it's yeah, obviously from two different viewpoints, right? We're getting different views on it, and you know what? That's the beauty of the of being able to do this kind of conversation is being able to understand more how it plays in both of your guys' minds, which is obviously one of the reasons why the driver's seat is actually a really good idea to have the different perspectives. Um, sorry guys.
I think it's also different because with Megan, the pure stock, you guys have like 24 plus cars.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of cars and a lot of stuff going on all the time.
Mhm.
Whereas with my division, it's only maximum 10 cars.
Yeah.
And really, like the top five are the ones that are really competitive and fighting each other all the time. Whereas the rest of the guys from back on were pretty much lap cars. And so they're not fighting hard. They're not going to be pushing, banging, and everything. It's just the top five guys. So it's not like the whole field is bumping and banging and rubbing and everything. It's just 5 out of
Yeah.
them. So
Yeah, it's definitely and the mini stocks program at Flamborough I find is typically a good product, especially, this year you guys have had a great number of cars come out even on a part-time basis, but you guys have even had your top 5 put on a show week in and week out, which it does. It does, in my opinion. When I've come and
you
watched,
do.
is it a shit show every now and then? Absolutely.
I was gonna say on the track, it's a great show. In
It
the pits, it's
it's different, but
crazy.
isn't that everywhere?
Oh, absolutely.
If there's great racing on track that fans are excited to see and want to see, there's always some shizzit
Hmm.
going on. I want to say it so bad, but I can't because we go to radio. I can't say anything bad. Uh, yeah, did you forget about that?
No?
No, I just didn't think
It
about.
was
I
it
didn't
was Megan's
correlate
reaction
the
there.
two. Like, oh yeah.
It was Megan's reaction because we are on radio as well, so we can't swear.
Never thought about it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Noted.
Good to know.
So the reason why episode 150, which I thought was actually gonna be closer to Labor Day, but I think with all my weeks off that we've done over the year, it's kind of pushed it to later in the season, which actually works out pretty good because this coming weekend is championship night at Flamborough Speedway. It's gearing up to be a heck of a night. There's lots of it sounds like there's quite a few cars who are coming out. Because I know I'll be there with the mini stocks once again, but not with anyone that you've raced against really that much this year, Kaylin, as we got the Sutcliffes joining us.
Oh,
Uh,
yay.
so we're doing a race day vlog with the two brothers this coming weekend. So I'll be seeing you guys around at Flamborough this weekend. Um, and Jacob is coming off a championship year up at Sunset, which is remarkable. I've already added him to the wall on the Joe Media website. Um, it's 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 nice being able to. But anyways, we're getting back to. I'm getting sidetracked here. With this being episode 150, and kind of, I want to get back to my roots of how I dealt with the shows prior to 2022, and that involved bringing back the driver's seat. And I know I've brought it to you guys' attention the past couple years and be like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we kind of brought it back and just see how it goes? And you guys have always been down. I just kept finding like not reasons, but like not enough time to be able to sit down and actually redevelop it essentially. Um, because a lot of it, let's be real, I was flying at the seat of my pants. I would get home at 5, like 5:05. I can't tell you how many times I would send you guys messages be like, "Hey, what do you guys want to talk about?" What? And I'd sit there and work on some sort of a script or a show notes for like the next hour until we got on. Right? And
Yes.
it was so much work in such a little time for the most part. But it was always one of the more fun times I've had doing a podcast. So with that being said, later on in October, we are going to be bringing back the driver's seat for a special end of year episode. I don't know how long we're going to record it for. We'll figure it out. We got to say the three of us have to talk about this
Yeah.
sooner rather than later so we can get this geared up because as Jacqueline says, my 40-year-old brain, even though I'm only 32, I've already been forgetting some things, so I need to get things in place and put in them calendars, which is why we have my calendar right up over here. Actually, I got Kaylin, you're actually on this month for the calendar.
Hi.
So it's all our mini stocks up on the calendar this month. But with it be like I said, with it being episode 150 and bringing back the driver's seat, I want to know some things about your time when we did do the driver's seat back in 2021. And I know we're digging back a little bit here. What was some of your favorite memories of the show?
I
Oh,
don't
don't
know.
jump in all at once here.
I enjoyed the whole thing. Like it was always really fun just talking. Like there was no real script. There was no like no expectations, I guess. Like there was a script. I guess we had a script for
There
like
was some, it was
beginning and end.
it
some
was barely
notes.
there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna write the entire thing
Yeah, like
and you
no.
guys just read it. No, you guys,
like,
You
I
tried to
wanted
do
raw
that for
emotions.
Michael and I. You see how well that worked?
That didn't go over so well.
It was me that was messing up too.
I know, I still have the bloopers.
I know.
There's times I go back and rewatch them. Like, how did we even manage to get through a blooper? Like, how did we manage to get through the first episode of not even the episode, the freaking promotion for it? We couldn't even get through it.
Oh, me and my Mike and Ike.
Your Mike and Ike's good Lord. To be fair, we've come a long way since then. So
yeah. Looking back at the driver's seat, obviously starting back when it was created with Michael, I didn't really know you, John, that well. I think we had just done the first interview. I think it was like episode 15 on here, actually.
the fact that you might know the number and I don't is a little.
I re-listened to it a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay. That's why the numbers are so good.
Yeah. But I'd only like recently met you, and then I was in a really bad spot. And so when you and Michael had talked about it, Michael kind of threw me a lifeline with that thing. And it definitely was a lifeline. You guys kept me going for a while. So, but I remember it was countless nights of like just absolute laughter. And I mean, some nights where we didn't even record because I was in a really bad mindset. So
but we would spend like
we
2
just
hours
kinda-
on here just.
Oh yeah, you'd be doing notes, Michael would be doing stuff for work, and I'd just probably be sitting there crying. So.
I was listening.
Listen to me crying. I was gonna say I wasn't even talking.
But even still, like we always had. That was the beauty part of it though. Is even when we were recording, even if we weren't recording, there was still this like. You could tell it wasn't, let's say, like a business kind of thing. It wasn't just like
No.
you clock in when we start recording, you clock out when we're done. Even when we had Megan join us later on in the season, we still had times where like we would record for like 2-3 hours.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
like we'd have a session that would go 2-3 hours, but really only record for an hour and 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And
It was a safe space. Like
Mhm.
the whole thing between starting where it was and then bringing Megan in and everything. It was a safe space. And so, yeah, it was.
I'm
did
so
so
glad
many
that
bloopers.
oh my God. There's so much left on the cutting room floor. But I think also what was good was the fact that even when we stopped recording with Michael, I still felt like you were a good presence for a show. And I know like I was always trying to fish for you to do it on your own.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I'm really glad. And to be fair, we do have to give a big shout out to Jacqueline because she's the one who suggested for Megan to come on it first to me. And then I was like, oh, that'd be fantastic. Because Megan would always, talk to me, message me about the True North Racing podcast at first, how she would love the episodes and this and that. And then the same thing with the driver sheet. She loved I remember getting messages from her about how the episodes went and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, and I always told Jacqueline that. I was like, oh yeah, like Megan, she's a racer at Flamborough, da 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 da. And then like we were like, man, I'd love to bring back the driver's seat. Like it just sucks that it kind of ended the way it did. And she's like, why don't you ask Megan? Well, Megan does like racing, so I mean,
I think it was around the time that you had suggested, Megan, that her and I had actually connected.
because you asked me that day, because I asked him like, would you do it with Megan? And then like you were also like you are asking where she was so you can go get a lift the visor sticker off her too.
Yeah. Yeah, we had like connected through that and then instantly connected, and she was my saving friend.
And now you guys are stuck together.
Absolutely. Soul sisters for life.
Soul sisters. Oh boy. Uh let's touch a little bit about that actually. Lift the visor, we all run Lift the Visor stickers. We all believe in mental health and how it affects us. And the one thing we've always wanted to do is I'm always saying we, but it's me for the most part, let's be real. But it sounds better if I say we because it doesn't sound like I'm an asshole. Yeah, bleep. Um
Come on, John.
let us slip through the cracks. I'm sorry. But no, Lift the Visor has the initiative, even when it started with Jory Elliott, what it meant, it's still needed today. It's still needed tomorrow. It's still needed 30 years down the road. And the two of you were some of like the first ambassadors, racing ambassadors for Lift the Visor. And you said it yourself there, Kate, that you guys bonded over that. Like that was your first connection, and it's since grown into more than just talking about Lift the Visor and mental health, what it means for you guys. But to know that you guys are each other's safe spaces as well is great. What has Lift the Visor meant for you guys in terms of mental health awareness and yeah, what does it mean for you guys?
Who's going first?
I don't know.
Um,
Meg, you can go.
okay. Well, I know for me, like in the beginning, it meant a lot, and it kind of actually means more now than it ever did, to be honest. Like when I first saw it and got behind it, it was deep to me, but like I didn't know that coming year it was going to be more influential in my life in racing than I ever thought. And then same with moving forward every year. And it's kind of like it's given me a safe space, and it's allowed me to meet people like Kate. Like I don't think if it wasn't for that, I don't know if we would have ever really crossed paths. Like our paths might have been like linear to each other, but I don't know if they would have ever crossed like that. So I was like, I'm thankful. And it's like just people knowing what I do with Lift the Visor. It's like I've had drivers who you would never expect to open up to me about their mental health struggles. And I'm like, dang, okay. Like never expected that from some of these drivers, but it's like it's nice to know that I'm there for them and they'll be there for me too. So it's like it's Lift the Visor is like massive in my life.
Um, Lift the Visor was kind of a puzzle piece into what I've always wanted with my racing. Uh, Mental health has always been a really, really big thing in my entire life, like my family's history and stuff. It's very prominent. So, when I started racing, I kind of wanted to somehow incorporate like awareness of mental health and stuff into my racing. I started the Project Dragonfly. It kind of busted. But that's also like I didn't promote it as much. I didn't do too much with it. And so when I found Lift the Visor through Meg and everyone, it was kind of that like glowing little piece for me that like, holy crap, that's what I've been trying to do in my racing and stuff and bringing awareness to the struggles we have and making it normal to talk about it and to accept it and not think that you're weird or strange or different or broken because you struggle with things. And so yeah, when I met Jory for the first time, it was amazing. Like he was so kind and so open and made me feel okay about talking about what I've been through and everything. And so it's been a really great thing, and I am super proud to run it on my car, and put it in all my posts on Facebook and everything. But yeah, like through Lift the Visor, I mean, I haven't really connected with as many people, but I also haven't done the ambassador stuff like Meg has. Like she sold stickers and everything. Like I just kind of joined into it, and like I talked to Jory, and I was gonna share my story, but I got uncomfortable with doing it because there's a lot of stuff that I still wasn't open to talking about. And so I didn't really meet a lot of people, but I did meet like Meg through it. And I definitely agree. I don't know if our paths would really totally cross. Like, obviously, it'd always be there because we both race at Flamborough. I see her all the time. And so I would have seen her anyways. I just don't know if we'd ever actually connect that way. And I'm super grateful that we did because, yeah, she came into a really low spot in my life and like has been there the whole time I've rebuilt my image and rebuilt my person and everything. So
That's all. Like it's really good when we can sit here and talk about it because I know what it means for you guys. You guys each have different stories. Everyone's got their own stories, and it's nice being able to talk about them or not even talk about the stories, but talk about what Lift the Visor really means to you guys and how it has connected you guys to people. And I think that's the beauty of it is like, yeah, who knows what could have happened if you guys didn't cross paths with Lift the Visor. You guys may have just known about each other, may have heard different things, but like maybe just not become as close as you guys were, or maybe in passing go like, hey, like, how's it going? Just stuff like that, and not really stay at each other's pits till 12 midnight and
Yeah.
doing stupid stuff and not mentioning names. We all know who we're talking about. But Jesus Christ, I need to stop. I'm getting fidgety here. But no, it's great that you guys have connected. You guys have these kitty cat.
Hi,
Uh,
Miami.
but it's really good that you guys have this connection. Um, you guys want to promote like as much as you're still promoting Lift the Visor, okay, and what it means to you because it's it's the message behind each person. And we talked to Jory earlier this year about it. And this year, it's not. He really wanted to be what each person's story is, not have a specific goal in mind, but really try to define. I guess really showcase, not showcase, really drive home the you know that if things are going wrong, everyone's story is different.
Mhm.
There's always people to talk to. I've always said it for a very, very long time. I'd rather listen to your story. I'd rather sit up till 3 a.m. listening to a story
Mhm.
than sit in a church on at 2 p.m. on a Saturday and hearing your eulogy.
Exactly.
I it may not get that far, but I'd rather be that person that I've always been that way, where I've always been open with people and say like, if you ever need to talk, I'm never gonna pry. I'm not that kind of person that reaches out and be like, hey, you good. But if you got something going on, just know my phone is always open. My phone is always on. All you gotta do is to shoot me a message. Doesn't matter if it's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Doesn't matter. If you need to talk about anything, my inbox is always open. And I know the two of you know that
Mhm.
because I've always stressed that to you guys that doesn't matter what's going on, inbox is open because I'd rather hear and be there for someone than not see them anymore because that would definitely hurt me a lot.
Absolutely.
But that kind of go and I know we kind of just went on a low point there, and I'm sorry about that, but you know, it's stuff. It is stuff that we need to talk about. I've always said we need to talk about it because it is one of those things that doesn't get talked about enough. And I think with the two of you guys and bringing back the driver's seat, it's a great opportunity to deep dive into more and talk more about it. Um, you know,
I like when people share their stories.
oh yeah,
Like when people talk about it confidently because they're not ashamed. I mean, it took me a while the last couple of years because I did have a lot of mistakes go on and I did attempt some stuff. And so it took me a while not to be ashamed of my story. But then between you two and Jory and Dale, you guys all make me feel like, yeah, what happened could have ended really badly. But it's not a bad thing that I went through it. If anything, it was what I needed to restart my life.
Mhm.
I really went back to ground zero and started fresh there. And so I think a lot of people I feel should be a lot more open to talking about it, no matter how dark it gets,
Yep.
because it's just the reality of it. It's not just all sunshines and rainbows and like, yeah, I get sad sometimes. It's, you know what, there's times where I sit in bed and cry till 3 a.m. type
Mhm.
stories, and I put myself in the hospital type stories. And so,
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, and you never know what somebody is actually dealing with. And it's like, to me, it kind of allowed me to realize that, like, okay, I'm not alone. Like, there's a lot of people that do deal with this, or even if it's people that don't deal with it, but they know that you do, and they come forward to help. It's like one person that this year has really kind of stepped up and helped me mentally is Haley Hill. Like, I kind of want to get it put on the dash of my car. I forget exactly how she words it, but she'll always tell me, like, there's no shame in the anxiety pill game. I'm like, you know what? You're right. Thank you. So it's like there's people that will come and talk to you and help you because they know that you struggle with that. And it's like, wow, like, thank you for not judging me and thinking that I'm less of a driver because of this. So it's like it can go two different ways. There's going to be people
yeah.
who look at you and they're like, wow, like, you shouldn't be on the track then. But for the most part, people are amazing about it. So it's been like a life changer.
Yeah, I like getting my story out because I mean I'm a very closed person, except for
Mhm.
those that I'm actually close with.
No, you're not.
Jonathan,
Look how quick you were able to open up to me about and talk to me.
I said unless we're friends.
We weren't friends before.
Well, I considered you a friend right away, pretty much. I'm insulted that you didn't.
I was going to say, wow.
Okay. I'm a shy person unless I'm with friends or people I'm comfortable with. How about that?
There you go.
So, not a lot of people know my background, my story. A lot of people don't even really know who I am as a person. They just kind of see the outside, which is a very miserable looking person, a very mean looking person. So, um, I like telling my story, and it's not because I want attention. It's not because I want people to feel bad for me or say, "Oh my goodness, I'm sorry you went through that." I want people to know I went through this since I was 14. I want people to know that because it's created who I am now. Like as at 24, I've had it for 10 years now, and it's been literally my life story. Like before 14, I was a competitive dancer and horseback rider, and I didn't know what it meant when I had nights where I couldn't stop my emotions from controlling me. I couldn't, when I'd get up to dance, I'd be so scared. I never understood it. I figured it was just stage fright, but truly it was actually anxiety. Um, so finding out when I was 14 about it, it was from there on, it's just like the little bricks of my foundation on like who Kait is as a person is a mess for the most part. For the longest time, the foundation cracked and crumbled and shattered back in 2021. But I got to build a new foundation, and I want people to know about it because I
Mhm.
want them to see what I built because I'm proud of what I've done. Not entirely proud of the actions I chose back in that year, but it brought me to a point where I could start over. And so it's not the way I wanted to do it, It's definitely not the way I wanted to treat my family and my friends, because I did scare a lot of them. And Dale, and I know I texted you guys that day. I skipped racing because of it. I put myself in the hospital for a 72-hour hold, tried to overdose. And so it's not the way to restart your life, but I needed the dramatic version because my brain was just very fried from what I had been through the past year. And so doing that sent me into a spiral of getting counseling, proper therapy, and that's what I needed to start over. And so I want people to know about that because I want them to see how I became the person I am today, not just see the outside shell of like she has RBF really bad and all that. Like I'm a very nice, happy person. I like talking to people. I like making friends. Like I've never really had a lot of friends in my life. And so racing has brought that in my life, but I'm not always blatantly open to people because I've been dealt bad hands. So, but I think I just want, because I want to be so open about it, I want other people to feel open to talk about their stories. And there's nothing to be ashamed about. It's your foundation in life. It's how you build, it's how you create who you are, and it's how you manage it and how you talk about it and how you treat people because of it and how you treat others who have it and everything. So
You are
Exactly.
absolutely right. Like, sorry, Megan, do you have something you want to add there before I?
I was just gonna say it's like it's a part of your stepping stone in life. And it's like I know for me, it's like you share it and you want people to feel comfortable in sharing theirs. And it's like you also kind of just want people to understand why you are the way you are sometimes. Like that's all I want is people to understand that like the things I do, especially at the track, it is not like there's a reason. Like there's learn my story, learn who I am, learn that I'm not what it appears as. Like
or what people
it's all of
say.
your story.
Like there's people out there have judged you from not like you specifically, but
Yeah.
like judged people from what they see. And so then that's what they tell people like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, she's super snobby, like she's really rude, she's gossipy, blah blah blah. That's not me.
Mm-mm.
You don't know me. You don't know what I've been through, and so you don't judge me by that cover. You need to read my story. You need to know what I went through and the people I've dealt with to
Mm-hmm.
become who I am, to become, yeah, I'm closed off at the face of it because that's how I protect myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I protect myself from the people that don't actually care to be my friends, care to
Mm-hmm.
know who I am. And so if you take that minute to talk to me, to meet me, to have one single conversation, you'll see that I'm not who I look like I am. And so people out there are just saying, and then other people live off the image that they have of what people have said about you. And then that's not
Mm-hmm.
fair.
So again, I'm guilty of it. There's been a few people that I've had an opinion on, but I've never really spoken to them. My opinion is formed on what I've seen, what I've heard through other people. And then I get to know them and I learn more about their story and who they are. And I'm like, wow, like you're really similar to me. I really like you. So it's like,
Same.
it shows how important it is to get to know somebody, like understand their story. Like we all have a story. We all have stepping stones in our life.
Yep.
Like learn about each other. You never know.
It always goes back to that old saying, never judge a book by the cover,
Exactly.
right? You know, everyone's story is different, everyone's life is different. And when you're able to look past the cover or
Mm-hmm.
the about the author section and really dig deep into the meat of the story, that's when you find the true character of a person,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Exactly.
a lot of us always try to see the good in people. Some of us, I know I'm guilty of that, trying to see the good in a lot of people, and that's ruined a lot of relationships for me in the past. Is dealing with someone who I thought I could help, and you know, because for me, I am that kind of person who wants to help everybody.
Mhm.
And I know that's my downfall is I want to be there for every single person, and life gets in the way, and then just, it turns out then it becomes harder than trying to be open. And I've lost a lot of friends in the past because of trying to help everybody, and it's ruined
Yeah.
past relationships for me. And but it's good to have, like, it's great to have people like you guys around, to be able to talk to be able to um express things, and you know to have these conversations, because I can't tell you how many times have we all had a conversation sitting either around a bonfire, racetrack, and it goes through so many different stages.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now my
Like
main
millions of
goal,
times.
I'm making a lighthearted approach here. Now one of my main goals is to try and make Dale speechless every time I see him. And I found a new good way the other day, so I'm gonna try to find something and bring it with me this weekend to Flamborough. So you better,
Please do.
I'm gonna tell you afterwards what it is. As long as he's not around, I'm gonna tell you what it is so you can be prepared.
He can't hear.
Perfect. It's gonna be awesome. I can tell you that much. Uh, but to have you guys and to be able to talk with you guys, and try and understand. I always say, like, I've struggled with stuff, but I don't talk about it, but I want to help people. I don't want to talk about my shit stuff. Didn't swear. Didn't swear. I don't want to talk about my stuff, but I want to be there for people, because
Yeah.
I don't want people going through the same stuff I've gone through.
Yeah.
But I'll never be ready to share my story. And that's partially because of my upbringing
Mhm.
and things that have happened, and I've been told to suppress them.
Yeah.
So I will never tell. You guys, I'll more than happy to tell. Not on air,
Yeah.
but I'd be happy to tell you guys. Like, there's some things growing up that happened. I'm not happy,
Mhm.
but it is what it is. But I want to make sure that, and that's my, like, for Lift the Visor, though I don't, like, I struggle, but I want to be the receiving end of that for people. I want to help people. That's always been my life's goal. I feel always like with my life goal is to help people.
Mhm.
And with Lift the Visor, it's given me that opportunity to show people that, hey, whether you're struggling or not, it's an avenue. And that's what I've always stressed is, no matter what's going on, it doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m, 6 at night, shoot me a message. I will get back to you as soon as possible.
Mhm.
But my inbox is open, and I'm not, trust me, the stuff that you could probably say to me is nothing compared to what I've heard before.
Mhm.
No one will scare me. I can guarantee you that.
I can
So,
vouch for that.
okay,
I
I'm gonna
shared a
have to ask
lot
you.
of.
I'm gonna have to ask you questions after, because I need to know what you know. Then,
I just meant I've shared a lot of stuff with you that I went through when we first met, and
yeah,
they're terrible things that I've dealt with and experienced and stuff. And you never batted an eye whatsoever on like, holy crap, like, oh, that's terrible. Like
I couldn't bat an eye, because it's in my. I feel like it's my nature to just listen.
Mhm.
yeah. And like a lot of people look at you like, oh, that's like, how could you have dealt with that type thing? And you just sat there like, dude, you're on the other side of it now. You made it through it. You're not in it anymore. You don't have that person in your life anymore. They're all blocked, blah, blah.
Yep.
So
How many conversations do we have afterwards that would last longer than the entire recording of the show, just so you can rant,
pretty much all the time,
right? Like, we always had those
especially in the
conversations.
beginning.
Yeah. Like, hell, we
Because,
didn't know each other before our first episode, but guess what? We spent an hour and a half recording and then another 2 hours talking.
yeah. And
Random
same
topics,
since
just getting to
then.
know each other.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
since then, I'm just not even a phone call away, I'm a text away,
Yep.
right? So, oh my goodness. For anyone who can't see it, and no one can, Kate and Megan can't even see it either.
No.
Did you guys hear the audio that was just going on?
No.
Okay, good. Oh, this is gonna sound so stupid on the recording. So I'm still trying to figure out how this is possible, but somehow Jacqueline's mom's phone will connect to my TV randomly on YouTube. So I was hearing talking and I thought it was outside, and I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, oh, it doesn't say Jacqueline's home. I don't know why I heard female voices outside. And I just happened to do one of these and I could see the TV. It's just literally just over here and just out of camera view, by the way. And there was a TLC video about what was it? Sister Wives
Hmm.
on YouTube. And I'm like, I didn't click anything.
Oh my god.
So that'll be a funny joke when I go downstairs. But yeah, sorry guys. Didn't mean to sidetrack us like we not only do that in the past.
No, not at all.
No, not like we ever got sidetracked throughout anything we've
Not
done.
once.
But one thing's for sure is I'm excited to get back to the driver's seat in a couple weeks here. We're gonna deep dive. I don't even know how long we're gonna record for, so maybe I'm gonna try to plan it for a Sunday that I don't have my kids, and we'll start at like noon and see where we end up.
That works
But
for me.
and I've already been working on some great video stuff for it. Like I've showed you guys some clips of what I've been working on for the driver's seat to kind of bring it to the new age, because when we do I wanted to do this when we talked about it first, was I wanted to put it out on video. And that was one of the things I've wanted to do. And for various different reasons, it just wasn't going to work at the time.
I feel like the amount of stuff we had to chop out didn't help that.
Yeah, not stopping every 5 minutes.
Hold on, take that out. I shouldn't have said that.
I should.
No, I can't have that in there. Take it off the record. That slipped.
I've grown since then.
I think all of us have.
Now.
I still blurt stupid stuff out though.
I do too, but
I think I'm the king of that though, but just saying. I'm excited to get back to being a producer and editor for that show, because I know you guys put in work, make me do work for that. Whereas when I do the True North Racing podcast, it's pretty straightforward. I don't make too many mistakes when recording, but when I do, they're usually quickly editable. Where you guys, it took me many late nights to get the show out for the next morning.
sorry.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
But no, we always had a great time on the show. I'm excited to bring it back. For anyone who's listening, who's never tuned into the driver's seat, why don't you each tell us in your own words what we could expect from the show?
Have us tell you?
Yeah, tell me what fans can listen. I'm not going to tell you what you can expect. I want you to tell the fans what they can expect when we put out a new episode in a few weeks.
I completely misunderstood that. I thought you meant like you want the fans to comment what
The
they
fans
want.
aren't here live. I want you to tell me what they can expect when we put out a new episode.
This.
Exactly. I was gonna say a whole lot of laughing, a whole lot of
Yep.
bouncing all over the place about everything.
Mm-hmm. There may be tears. Who knows? Depends on how deep we go.
Yeah.
I don't cry that much, guys. I swear. I'm sorry. It makes it sound like all I do is cry. That used to be my side hustle, was crying.
I feel that.
I could have been
Good
paid
Lord.
so much money for that.
Jesus Christ.
Every tear was like $100. Billionaire.
So pretty much what you can expect is a bunch of randomness for about an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to have a blast. So I hope you guys get ready, because we're also going to be bringing back Checkers or Wreckers.
No.
Yes. That was my favorite segment. for numerous reasons. One, because I got to learn something every week, which is one of my goals every week is to learn something new. And two, it was to always see how easy I could make a question to where the answer was right there and see where you guys would go wrong.
John would be like, "What color shirt am I wearing?" And I'd be like, "I don't know. Is that black or is that like purple?"
It's yellow.
That's exactly what it would be.
Yes.
Like
Well, my laptop's tinted, so it's a bit green from over
Yeah.
here.
oh my God, this is gonna go so bad.
Oh yeah.
But it's gonna go so good, I think.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, the driver's seat was always like from the inception, from the creation of it, kind of inception.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I was
yeah?
trying to think Inception.
You're saying
Inception.
Inception. From the time we created the show to having to kick it off the air, unfortunately, and I now thankfully I've been able to recover it because the hosting platform I use went to using like I had to use my Spotify account and I never did it. So I spent like 2 weeks ago, I created Jacqueline's podcast and I had to talk to Spotify itself to be able to connect the driver's seat to my main account. So that took way too long to deal with. So luckily I didn't have to create a new one. We're good to go when we go back to record. We're gonna have a blast. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and you definitely won't hear me talk a lot. That's the main part. I don't talk. I try not to.
We make you.
That's the problem.
We drag them in.
John, what did you think of that? No.
You don't get to just sit there.
John, tell us a story.
There's one time when I was a kid.
I was gonna say there'd never be disagreement. It'd be like, oh yeah, I remember this. You're like, got ya.
I hate when I have to join in because it's supposed to be you guys. It's not the three of us.
But we like you in it.
I just bring you guys bring a randomness. I try to control you guys to keep you guys on track, and it doesn't work.
It's a
Dazzle,
A lot of
dazzle.
time.
keyword.
Yeah, I try to keep you guys on track, but it's like the ducks in the rows. You're one duck's over here, one duck's over there.
I shared this thing on my Instagram story and Facebook story. It's like my ducks are definitely not in a row. Hell, I think one of them might even be a pigeon.
My ducks aren't in a row. They're not even in the same pond.
Mine are in a cop car.
Jesus Christ. All right. With that, we're going to close out this episode of the True North Racing Podcast. We got to thank Caitlin and Megan for joining us. Oh, hold up. I screwed up. We have a Tailor to You medium design fan question. Are you guys ready to answer it?
Is it Fanny's?
Well, it could be Feeney's. Yeah, the sort of Brandon's first here because I remember that one.
There's
off the top
more
of my
than
head.
one?
I had 3.
I saw 2.
I saw Fanny's. Oh, and Dale's.
I was just say
Yeah. And there was one on Instagram too. Can we see a ride swap from you guys?
I've been offered a few pure stocks from a couple different teams. And they want to drive my car. The one guy wants to drive my car and I'll drive his car. And he's really fast. His car's really fast. And I'm like, no. Like, you guys are psychos out there.
I don't know if Kate wants to play that game.
No.
I don't even want to play my own game some nights. Like, I don't think I wouldn't fit in Kate's car, for one thing.
Beanie did he not?
Barely.
He couldn't drive it. He couldn't even put the steering wheel on it.
I'd be so scared though. Like, I know the money and the work that goes into that car, and I would be so scared. Like, no.
But one of our questions here comes to us from William underscore Trillium. He goes, "What has been the biggest moments of your careers so far?" Megan.
Probably my feature win, my first feature win. That was like childhood dream. So accomplishing that was massive. Like I could have hung it up then, but I won't. So that was
Never.
career favorite.
Don't mind me. I'm rocking my cat to sleep. She's curled up in my lap. She's falling asleep. Um, I think I'd have two career achievement things, proudest moments, whatever it was called. I don't remember already. One would be my feature win, because like Meg said, I mean, it wasn't a really childhood dream for me because I didn't ever dream about driving a race car. Till I was 16, and then I thought, okay, well, I got a race car now, and I guess I got to learn how to like it. Never grew up in racing, never grew up with cars. I didn't know anything about it. So yeah, my feature win. And then I'd say the past 2 seasons with traveling, I went to Sauble for the first time ever, which was actually traveling for the first time ever in my car, and just knocking off my best lap times between last year with doing 17.9s to this year with 17.8s and 17.7s. It was, those are my two top marks on racing.
Those are pretty good. I'll give you both, like what you guys each had said there was fantastic. Our next question comes to us from Dale Millard. To Kait, what was the highlight of your 2024 season, and what are your plans for next season?
Sure.
Gotta drop them now.
I don't know, Dale. What are my plans for next season? Okay. Anyways, highlight this season. I've mentioned it about 7 times this episode, but just, oh, I guess I'll word it differently here. Coming up into the season, my goal was to try new things. I mean, that was kind of my goal last year, because I had the new car. And so it was doing different setups and stuff. And then this year, because it had worked so well by the end of the season, I was wanting to do new things almost every week if we could, to see how we could better the car, how I could better my driving. And it went well, obviously, for the first about half season, 3/4 season. And we knocked down my lap times significantly and like consistently too. Like it wasn't, doing 18 flats and then the odd 17.9 or 17.8. It was like consistently 17.8, 17.9s. And so it was nice, and it was very confidence boosting while we had it going. And so that, between that and just trying new things and being out of my comfort zone, is my proudest moments of this year. I don't really have an answer for the second question.
I guess we'll talk about it on the driver's seat.
I was gonna say, I don't really ever have an answer for that kind of question at the end of any season, because just, I don't know. It's hard. It's a lot of money, and
Yep.
I still don't know what's going on with my parents because they're trying to sell their house, so they could easily sell it in the winter, and then I'm probably done when that happens. So I don't know. I don't want to think about it because I made a lot of new friends this season, and I really want to continue having those friends around me because they're pretty cool. And they're people I never would have thought I'd be friends with. And they brought a lot of cute kids too. So but yeah, I don't know what's happening next season yet. I'd like to say I'm racing. I'd like to say that I'm doing a full season again, but with how bad the engine goes sometimes, I don't know if we'll manage a full season. I don't know if we'll manage a season at all. Yeah.
Stay tuned is all, as I guess all we can say then right now.
To be continued. Dot, dot, dot.
To Megan, what was your highlight of the 2024 season? And with all the success the team has had this year, what kind of confidence does that give you and the rest of the team for next year?
Mm, highlight of mine would definitely, I don't know, I have a few. Like just getting back out there and running the lap times that I've been running the past couple weeks has been a highlight. Like the the speeds have changed so much in pure stock since 2021 when I last raced. So like me doing 19.5s now is actually faster than I ever did in 2021. So
Oh, wow.
that, yeah, like I was doing like 19.7s and we were one of the faster cars. So that was kind of crazy. But that would be a highlight. It's like just watching my team succeed has been a huge highlight. Like seeing how well Rachel's progressed has been massive to me. Like just proud big sister moments. Watching the things my dad has overcome and achieved has been massive. But like seeing Chase get 2 feature wins is probably the biggest highlight of my whole year. Like it's got nothing to do with me, but like that was my biggest highlight, my happiest moment of the whole year. And then the second part, the success we've had this year, like probably not me, but like watching the other 3 gives me like huge confidence going into next year because I know what they've done. I know the work they've put in, and I now know what I need to do to also be on that level. And it's like, I think as long as we keep our positive, like no quit attitude, I think next year is going to be like 20 times better than this year. So it's like, I'm excited. We've kind of been not working with another team, but making friends with another team. And it's been nice to go out knowing that we have them to fall back on and ask questions and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's been a lot of bouncing things back and forth with each other. And it's like, it's been great. Like, I feel like next year is going to be my best season yet.
Love hearing that. That's what I want to hear.
I'm getting a future win next year again. I'm speaking
Hell
it
yeah.
in existence. Like I'm well overdue.
You never know what next year is going to bring. Hell, you could go out there and win the championship for all we know. Hey, you never know what's going to happen this offseason. That's all I can say. But it's been an absolute pleasure having you guys on for episode 150. I'm excited to go back, record the driver's seat. Hopefully, no talking. If I have to disconnect my mic, I'm going to do that just so you guys can't hear the damn word I say.
I'm gonna teach you sign language then.
Teach me sign language. No, thank
I'll
you.
just mute my audio until you put your microphone back in and talk.
That's going to be coming out at the end of October. We are still planning on figuring out when we're going to record it, and but when we do, you guys will be the first to know. It's going to be a lot of fun. Where can they find you guys on social media for your race seasons? Where can they find you guys?
Mine is mrc.racing.73 on TikTok, and then Facebook that's Instagram. And then TikTok and Facebook are both MRC Racing 73.
Oh. Hi. Ow. Cats. Claws. Ow. My racing Facebook is just Wallace Racing, and then Instagram is wallace.racing because apparently Wallace Racing already existed, so but I don't have TikTok or anything for racing, so
well, good luck, guys, for the rest of the season, and we'll be back with the driver's seat in a little bit. So stay tuned.
yay.
And we're back from our conversation with Caitlin and Megan on episode 150. It was a lot of fun chatting with them, as it always is. You know, it's great to look back and kind of look at what the driver's seat started out as. And if we can bring this back in 2025, there's nothing stopping me per se right now. But if you're interested in helping us continue the program and set it up for 2025, we'd love to talk with you, love to chat with you. You can be the presenting sponsor of that for a relatively decent price. And we're gonna do lots of coverage behind the scenes for you guys. If you're interested, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to work with anyone and everyone. We have great companies we work with, and if you want to join us, feel free. Got some great things on the go. We got new crew shirts coming next year. I'm working on getting a tent for us for next year. Nice 10 by 20 tent, actually. Um, spot on the website, special articles about you and in the write-ups for the podcast on the website. Lots of great exposure opportunities for your company when you work with Joe Media and Promotions. So if you'd like to be a part of the driver's seat in 2025, please feel free to reach out. Love to work with you. Oh my goodness, I'm still getting over this cold. But yeah, I got to thank each and every one of you who listens to the True North Racing podcast presented by Driving with Hailey. I appreciate every single one of you. This has been an absolute dream of mine from a very long age to be able to be talking to people. It's kind of funny. Like I said, it's one of those things. It's kind of funny that I grew up with, I was very into sports. I didn't think anything of this, you know, I kind of wish I thought a lot of this sooner in life than when I did. But this has been one of the funnest journeys I've had in such a long time. Being able to chat to people like Jory Elliott from Lift the Visor, Brad Holton, JR Fitzpatrick. I had JR on the show, from our first guest, Logan Dillon. We've had Wally Wilson on. We've had a lot of great guests on, and it's been a blast being able to chat with them. And I know we're gonna have Wally coming back here in a couple weeks, and I gotta find out when I screwed up, and I got to figure out when we got him back on again. But we're gonna be wrapping up our season here in just a little bit, which is unreal. Because I love doing these shows a lot, and I screwed up, and I got really hope I put it in my notes. But yeah, I did do it. Damn. Yep. Oh, I'm in trouble. Uh, great. But, being able to do the driver's seat or the True North Racing podcast has been an absolute dream of mine. It has been an absolute pleasure. And I hope to continue this for a very long time and talk to more short track races and hopefully expand. If you're a driver or a team owner or a crew member or anyone involved in motorsports, we'd love to chat with you. Doesn't matter if you're from the States. Doesn't matter if you're from Western Canada, Eastern Canada, way down south states. If you're listening to us and you're a driver, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to bring you on. Love to chat with you. Love to get to know about how you got into racing, because the more we know about you, I feel like the more human we make you. But, I'm just the guy who loves to talk racing. I've always been that kind of way. For a very long time, racing's been a big part of my life. From Rick, I'd say about when I was 10 years old, being able to watch Daytona. I remember watching Daytona. I think it was 2022 was my first race I ever watched on TV. I think it was a July race, maybe. No, maybe it was the 500. But I remember, Toledo. At one point, I grew up a few miles away from Toledo Speedway, and still haven't been to a race. Love to go to one. Because they're like regular season races on Fridays. Didn't make it down there until like 10, so races were over. But no, I'd love to go, and I love to get to experience all the. And I'm trying to plan a trip next year if we get sponsors to go to Maine to go visit Evan. I'm not even going to attempt to say your last name, buddy, because that is no. I'm not even gonna. I don't want to end up on another TikTok. But we're gonna hopefully go see Evan out there, and hopefully get him up into a pure stock up here in Flamborough for Frosttoberfest in October next year. I think it'd be a blast. So if there's any companies who want to be a part of that, please feel free to reach out. It'd be great. It'd be a lot of great content. Seeing what Super Late Model Team does down in Maine, get to view the Maine racing. I'd love to be able to travel and check out more different racing spots. So yeah, if you like I said, if anyone's interested in being a part of Joe Media Promotions in 2025, we got lots of cool things happening. Um, and we hope to make them possible. But yeah, that's enough for me this week. I'm not going to talk about more about what we need in the background here, because I'm just going to continue ranting. But no, I hope to get down there. Be great. It would be a great event, great storyline. And of course, bringing him up here, seeing what he's never been in a front wheel drive car. It'd be really cool to see how he does, how he manages it, and of course, for him and his family to come on up to Canada. I think we'd have to get a camper and go camp with him at Flamvers. That way we can all hang out with each other. So who knows? Who knows what will come in 2025? But we got a lot of great things happening next year. If you, like I said, if you're interested in upping your promotional game for 2025, we got lots of great packages for you. Go over to joemedia.ca to find out more information, or email us jomopromos@gmail.com. Reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok as well. Guys, that's what we have. We're here to promote you drivers. And we hope you guys have enjoyed our season. But that's going to do it for us this week on the True North Racing Podcast, presented by Driving with Hailey. Thank you guys for everyone who listens. You guys are all amazing. But we will catch you guys on the flip side. So we will chat with you guys next week. Bye now.
The gas and feel the vibe, going into overdrive. Drop the flag, then the car zooming by. Hey, True North Racing, let's go.